Hello again, my friend. In this video, we're going to start our 1.5 page game design document. That's what GDD stands for. I'm going to give you a template so that you can start working on your own game design and come up with your own ideas for how cool your game can be. And eventually we'll get to the point where it looks something like this, which is what my game design is. So I want to start off by making a point that RPG game design, unlike many other type of game design, is a real battle between your epic imagination and your realistic limitations. So I know that you've got tons of ideas, you've played a lot of games, you've got a lot of cool features and stories and characters, so you've got a lot there, I know that. But also, you have realistic limitations in that maybe you're working solo, it's just you, maybe you've teamed up with a friend, maybe you're not very good at art, perhaps you're still learning programming. There's some things that you can or can't do. So you want to think about cool stuff, but keep it realistic. And the way you do that is by thinking big, by all means, but start small and then build on that and build on that and build on that. So start by creating a simple gameplay moment. What Sam and I are doing, we're starting off just by getting our character to run around and to hit enemies, and we can take damage and they can take damage. And we just want that moment to be interesting and a good experience for the player and fun, basically. So that's where we're starting, and then we add on top of that and add on top of that. And in this particular lecture, the challenge I've got for you is to set your creative direction. Even if you're going to be following along exactly with what Sam and I are doing, I want you to think about what your game could be. What would you be excited about creating? So I want you to complete the first section of the 1.5 page GDD, which I'm going to go through in a moment. So we'll go through it together, but I'm just letting you know this is what I'm expecting your output will be in this video. And I'm also hoping that you'll add a couple of images that summarize what your game is about and create a simple one-line summary of your game. So that's what we're going to get done by the end of this video. And at this stage you might be saying, but where do I even start, Rick? What do I do? Okay, the first place to start is get inspiration by looking at other games and pulling specific features or mechanics or aspects from that game. So this is Diablo 3 and the Diablo 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the future series. Just amazing. We love there's tons of enemies coming at you, that there's just a big smash fest going on. You level up your character, you get new abilities, there's particle effects flying everywhere. It feels like a battle, and that's one of the things that we wanted to recreate in our game. So from Diablo 3, we're taking this mass enemy battle feeling out of it. And you don't have to own the game yourself. You can watch YouTube videos, as I'm doing now. This is another game, Battleheart Legacy, which I love. It's a mobile-only game. It's just so simple, but so rich in the game. Just, you fight a few enemies at a time, you bounce around on the screen, you've got the click to use abilities down the bottom. You don't have a million of them. You've just got enough to make this game feel rich. The story is simple, but it's so powerful. You don't really know who you are as a character, but you build the story yourself. And you can see the UI here is really clean, really simple, just a nice game. And the other one I wanted to show you that I took a lot of inspiration from is Torchlight 2, and I'm really looking at the visuals here, the nice world with trees and grass, but the special effects really pop. You can see the fire and the lightning, everything just kind of punches out this really nice atmosphere that's being created by this game. So if you want to take some time to do your own research and watch some videos and play some games now, that's great. And if you're ready, let's dive in and have a look at getting some things down on paper. So we say, what is your game? What are you creating? First of all, I've given you a link in the resources for my template, which deliberately looks a little bit ugly so that you can go in and make it look nicer, which is cool. So I'm working in Google Docs. It's free. It's very easy to sign up. They might need you to throw in an email address. It's all great. It's Google. What could go wrong? But it's a really easy way to get started with no barriers. So click on the link, jump in. If there's any sort of sign-up-y type things you need to do, then do that. Probably shouldn't be yet, but click on File and then go Make a Copy. When you click on that, it'll ask you to rename it and then where you want to save it. If this is the first time you're using Google Docs, then you might need to create a folder structure, or it'll put it just somewhere in your high-level folder, which is great. Don't worry about the other buttons, then click OK. That's one way to do it. The other way is to go File and then Download As, and you can download this as a Word document if you're more comfortable working offline in a Word document. Okay, so go ahead and make your copy now, if you will. I'm just going to rearrange my tabs a little bit here, pop that to the side so I can see it as I go, because I've got a couple of notes already. I've made myself my copy, which is here. I've called it Rick, and first thing I'll do is just get rid of the notes that I've made for myself up the top. Project name, it's good to give yourself a code name. Don't stress about this. Don't try to come up with the final name. If you try to do that, you'll be, if you're like me, you'll be here all day. I've just called mine Project Dragon, I don't know, because that's RPG-ish. So you want to give it a placeholder name. the summary or hook we'll come back to. The images we'll come back to in a moment as well. Let's start by putting in some of the details down here. In this video, we're just focusing on this top chunk. We're not focusing on the other details down the bottom, but feel free to have a look at that if you want. So the genre, what do I mean by that? Well, it's the type of game that we're making. So obviously you're making an RPG, and mine is a third person, well, that's not how you do third person action RPG. It's single player, I'm not doing multiplayer, and it's fixed camera. Just to be clear, it's not a look around camera type game. So that's my genre. That's the type of game that I'm making. Target audience, I've said it's good to put in age group. So is it a E for everyone? So little kids could play it. Is it a game for teenagers? Is it 18 plus? Because you're going to have all sorts of gore in there. For us, I think we're going for a 13 plus, which is a T for teen if you're looking at ratings. Fans of old school, what would it be, RPGs like Diablo, and people who like funny things, because our game is going to be all about funny, which I'm going to talk about a bunch throughout this section of the course. The controls, we're just doing mouse and keyboard for our game, not going into controller just at the moment. Thematic setting. Okay, so this is where you say, where is it set? Is it a space game? Is it a medieval game? Is it a steampunk game? And for us, we're doing medieval Europe kind of game. Kind of the England is the way I see it. Fantasy, knights, and what is it? Knights and swords and dragons and stuff. Okay, so I'm going slow, I'm going deliberate so that you can do this as well. So hopefully you're typing yours out as I go. Pause the video if you need to, but follow along. Don't just watch. I want you to be creating something that you would like to make yourself. The tech stack, well, obviously we're using Unity 2018.3. We're going to use some Audacity for some audio creation, and probably just Asset Store for the art, for 3D and UI. So Asset Store, Asset Packs. Platforms, well, we're targeting just Steam. At this point, we're not trying to make it a mobile game. Just to keep it nice and straightforward. When you try to make it PC and mobile, it adds a whole lot of extra complexity you have to think about. And then the MVP game moment. Okay, so what is this at the bottom up level? We're talking about high level with most of these things. From a bottom up, what is our game? What are we going to do in that first thing we're working towards in our prototype? And for us, we're making a don't need that bold, 2 minutes of simple linear level flow. Linear means just from A to B, with basic combat against 3 or 4 enemy types. Okay, so why are we bothering to write this? It's so we're clear to ourselves. What are we focused on now? Don't allow yourself to get drawn into a massive game, a massive development. For now, focus on the milestone that's just in front of you, which is creating a simple little combat sandbox demo. Okay, now scrolling all the way up to the top, I've had a lot of time to think about my game, so I already know a lot of these things. For you, it's okay to ponder it. For now, put in something, placeholder if you don't know anything, but I want a brief summary or a hook for my game. And for me, it's going to be Diablo meets Monty Python. Monty Python being a super funny British comedy TV show where and movies and stuff. Life of Brian, The Holy Grail, just love it. It's really funny and silly and crazy. So that's what I'm heading towards. And Diablo, well, we know Diablo as the fixed camera, third person, click to move style game. Okay, and the last thing we'll do in this video is we need a little bit of imagery. This at the moment is like, I have no idea what's going on with this game. So I'm going to jump over to Google Images, and within Google Images, I'm just going to search for whatever I think. So if I search for Monty Python to see what comes up, it's probably Monty Python and the Holy Grail is what I'm really thinking of. That's the movie that's all the knights and swords, and it's just ridiculous. They're pretending to ride around like on horses and clicking coconuts together. It's just such a wonderful movie. So what I want you to do, remember our challenge is to add 2 images that summarize what your game is about. Go through, find some Google Doc images or wherever you get it from. At this stage, here's the point I want to make. Don't worry about infringing upon copyright. Don't worry about if you're allowed to use it. This is for internal use only. Only you are going to see what's going on here, or maybe you'll share it to a friend. So just use whatever at this point, but don't put any of this stuff into your game when you launch it. That's the point. So which one do I like here? That one there. So I go right click, copy image. Okay, delete the placeholder we've got there, right click, paste, and then boom, there we go. We've got an image. Wonderful. Okay, so find yourself another image or two so that you get a really good feel of visually what your game is all about. At this stage, complete your tagline, complete the top chunk of text, and when you've done that, I will see you in the next video.